Hi everyone, today we have Trent Dyrsmid from Online Income Lab, and I've known Trent for over 12 months, I think, and he was kind of pivotal in my initial kind of foray into internet marketing. I learned a lot of things from Trent's niche site mastery, sort of membership site. So today we're going to talk about a lot of things. One of the things I like about Trent is he's good at obviously he's got a slightly different background to a lot of us. He comes from a business background, and he's very good at sort of goal setting and achieving those goals. That's one of the things I've noticed about Trent. So I guess I'm just going to start with just get a brief background from Trent. I know, as I mentioned, you've actually used to have a business, like a traditional business before. So what sort of attracted you to going into internet marketing from running? I know you sold your business for $1 million, last business for over $1 million. So
I did, yes.
So what sort of attracted you to internet marketing and not going into another sort of traditional style business?
I would say that it was a couple of things. With the old business, one of the things is I had to go into a great deal of debt to get that business up and running. And so there was an immense amount of financial risk that I shouldered alone. And there were times when that wasn't really a whole lot of fun. And I had, 2 offices and 13 employees and customers that didn't want to pay their bills on time. And so at any point in time, people owed us, about $100,000 to $120,000. It cost me $90,000 to $100,000 a month just to pay all the bills. So it was difficult to turn a profit. At first 5 years, as a matter of fact, we never really made much money at all. And of course, it started to get better at the end. And it also, customer acquisition was really, really a challenge. We sold IT services. We were an outsourcing company, and we delivered those services over the web. But despite that, we still had a cold call model, and we would get meetings with people and write proposals, and our close ratio was very low. And all of that was very, very frustrating to me. The first few years were relatively easy, and then it just got harder and harder and harder. And so one of the things that I really, and this is a super important thing to realize, if you're going to go into business and you're going to sell something to other businesses, in the ledger, the profit and loss account, there's 2 sides. There's revenue and there's expenses.
Yep.
We sold something that added to their expenses. In other words, by buying IT services, it wasn't like it was spending money on marketing or spending money on salespeople or spending money on advertising. People invest money there because they're greedy and they want to increase sales. On the expense side of the ledger, people are cheap because they want to keep their expenses as low as possible, and I don't blame them. Yeah. So one of the things that I really didn't like about that business was we sold our product fit on the expense side of the ledger, and so I could never tap into the psychological buttons of buying that made people want to buy stuff. Mm-hmm. They only bought our stuff because they needed to buy stuff. And as you know, businesses are run by people, and people are run by emotions. So this desire to get something is so much more compelling than this desire to have this service. So when I sold the business, I took some time off. I moved to California, to San Diego, where I live now, and I really wasn't interested in doing anything other than just hanging out. And I bought a surfboard, and I had my little midlife crisis and grew my hair long. I think it came down to about here, which for me is long. Yeah. And I started surfing every morning. And I didn't really know anything about internet marketing back then, to be honest with you. I mean, like this much. Yeah. And there was this girl, and anyone who's read my stuff has heard this story before, but I'll assume your readers hasn't. There was a girl named Haley, and I would see her surfing every morning. And around the time because I'd be out on the break by 6:30 or so, around 7:30, 8 o'clock, people will start leaving because they're going to work, to jobs. Yeah. And she would never leave. So I figured, well, either she's like a waitress or something like that, or I don't know. But she was cute, so I thought I'd talk to her. And I eventually asked her, I said, you don't ever leave. Don't you have a job? And she said to me, she goes, well, not really. She says, I'm an internet marketer. And I was like, wow, cool. I know what that is, sort of, but does it pay well? And she told me that, I guess I'm not telling her last name, so I can say she was making about $500 a day. And I was pretty fascinated by that. And I said, well, do you have any employees? And she said, no. And I said, how much do you work? And she goes, well, I'm kind of in maintenance mode. She says, I have a couple sites that work really well for me. And so I only work like 1 or 2 hours a day, maybe 3 hours a day right now, but not all the time. And I was really fascinated by that. So I asked her if she would have a coffee with me after surfing, and she did. And she showed me her affiliate account. She was selling registry cleaners and a bunch of other software products where the commission's 50%. So it's someone buys something for $50, she'd make $25.
Yeah.
And she had all these little niche sites that would rank for keywords and get free traffic from Google. And I was pretty fascinated by that. So I just decided I was going to try and get that lifestyle, because if I could, I'd really come. One of the big kind of aha moments that I'd had in when I sold my business was I really realized how much I underappreciated having free time. Mm-hmm. And the irony, of course, now is I work my ass off, but I don't have to work every day. That's the difference.
No.
I work because this is so much fun. I love doing this. Every day you're learning, but we'll get to that later. Yeah. I just wanted to have a lifestyle that allowed me to be geographically independent from where my customers were, that it didn't matter where I was going to be. I didn't want to have to talk to anyone to make a sale. I did not want to have to say, you should buy my stuff one-on-one, because that means I'm also the limiter of the business. Unless I'm going yap, 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 yap to somebody, nobody can buy my stuff. Well, what if I don't feel like talking that day? What if I feel like mountain climbing or riding my dirt bike or driving my race car or whatever that day? I don't want to talk to anybody. I can't make any sales, and that's not a good model. Yeah. And I had not much luck hiring salespeople with my previous business, and despite the fact that I was a salesperson for the vast majority of my life, salespeople are really hard to hire and really even harder to manage. And I thought, I don't want any salespeople. I want websites. I want places where people can go and they can just. And I wasn't thinking about being a blogger or a membership site owner or anything back then. I just wanted to have a whole truckload of these websites so that I could make $500 a day and go surfing. That's all I wanted to do. And so that's kind of how it got started.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's excellent. That's a really good insight. So I guess I was just wanted to come to the next question. Obviously, you kind of touched on that at the end of the last question, and so just briefly. So when you started, but did you know what you were going to do? Did you want to build affiliate sites, or did you want to go AdSense? Did you want to go build niche website? Did you want to start a membership site? Did you have a sort of a clear direction as to, or did it just happen organically? You just decided, okay, well, let's plunge in and see what happens.
Well, I wish I could say I was smart enough to have a strategy back then, but I'm really not that bright. I'm really good at copying other people and then taking an idea that they have and figuring out where I can improve it. My previous business, same thing. I did not invent that business model of delivering IT services over the internet. I just looked at what companies were doing in the United States. I looked at their marketing, I looked at their websites, and I thought, how can I do that better? And so in the beginning, I just was going to do exactly, because she had a formula that was working. Why would I deviate from the formula? So I didn't copy her niche. She actually showed me her niche, but I refused to copy her niche because she asked me not to, and that's not the kind of guy that I am. I just copied the model. I wanted to own a portfolio of niche sites, and I wanted to be an affiliate marketer. And actually, I'm just remembering one other really key thing too. Very shortly after I met Haley, I discovered the Warrior Forum. Either she told me about it or somebody told me about it. And so I was reading the posts one day, and there was a post by a guy named LMC. That's his Warrior Forum name. His real name's Steve. And he went into great detail about his 235 websites, and they were averaging $4 a day each. And to me, the light bulb just went on. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. Now that doesn't work anymore. Google has changed the game big time. I don't
Yes.
think that anyone should set out to try and build 235 websites.
Yeah.
And we can get into that later in the podcast. But that was my original inspiration, and so I just went bananas and I started building sites like mad. And because I had been a CEO before, to me, my job was to think about what to do. It wasn't to do it. And so I started outsourcing literally from, I think, website number 3. I think I built the first 2 because Haley didn't even know about WordPress. She hand coded all her sites and she told me to hand code them. And then I discovered WordPress and all that kind of thing. So after I built 2 WordPress sites, I thought, I'm not going to do this anymore. This is boring. So I immediately started to create a fairly significant library of training material. And one of the very first VAs I ever hired, she still works for me to this day in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I just started creating, and not even videos in the beginning, just all these screenshots with directions, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, so that I could get to the point where I could literally just like order new websites and they would just be built for me. And that was kind of really how Niche Site Mastery got started.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I guess the other thing was you sort of had a bit of direction. So did you actually set yourself? This is where like a lot of people actually, when they start in internet marketing, they struggle because they see all these ideas to make money. There's literally hundreds of different ways you can make money in internet marketing, and they don't actually set themselves. I guess this may not happen by choice, but people don't set themselves a goal or a direction. And they say, okay, well, let's get started, try one thing, that doesn't work, let's move on to the next one, that doesn't work. So how did you sort of overcome those hurdles initially? Like, did you set yourself a goal of, this is how much I want to make in the next month? I wanted to make $1,000 in the next month, or?
It's a really important point, Anshul, that you're touching on. People in the industry call it the shiny object theory. And because I had been a CEO and I had started my company 8 years ago, and it was really hard when we started that company.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculously hard, but I never gave up, and I never gave up because I didn't have to train my brain to keep going, even though things weren't working in the short term. And this is, I wish I could just give people a pill for this, because this is more important than anything I teach, and that is the psychology of what it takes to be successful in business or in sales or whatever. Most people, they give up at the first speed bump. Oh, that's too hard. And I blame our industry to a certain degree, because there are a lot of folks out there who come up with products that I'll call them magic software. They don't really work, and they come up with really awesome sales pages that hit every psychological button, and they basically say, click the mouse 4 times and you'll make $10,000 a month. And there's endless products that say that.
Yep.
And those people should go to jail, because it's crap. It's not true. It takes a lot of work. And so the buyers and the new internet marketers they get conditioned to think that, click, 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 and then I'm rich. And it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I didn't suffer from that, because I had already been in business and I had seen how difficult it was. But despite how incredibly difficult it was to start my company, I ended up selling it for $1.2 million 8 years later, and had a pretty good lifestyle and got a big payday and made pretty good money for the last few years. Just that's what it takes.
Yeah. I guess, that's what they call occasionally you hear about these $1 million product launches, and most of them tend to be these sort of training packages they offer. I get emails about those, pretty much on a daily basis.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So no, thanks for mentioning those points, and I think it's really important for people. Especially, I guess the important thing is that for you already had a sort of business background, but a lot of the people who come to internet marketing come from, the jobs they hate. They don't work in jobs. They want a sort of this lifestyle business. They can just go to the beach, just a bit like yourself. Mm-hmm. And I guess it takes them a while to condition themselves to learn that there is no magic bullet. You have to sort of still kind of build a business and work on it, and then you start to see results. And it's not like you're going to be a sort of you're going to be making money overnight. So I think it's that's really important part of success in Indian marketing, I think.
Well, don't get me wrong. You can make money fairly fast in this business, but no one new does it because they don't know how. There's a certain way, like the mother of all niches. It's no great secret. The best niche of all niches is to sell products that somehow enable people to make money online.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I met a guy, his name's Paul Clifford, and he in his first year made more than I did. He made almost $200,000 because he took the time to network in the industry and figure out how the internet marketing niche really works.
Yeah.
And he had a background that and money that a lot of people maybe don't have, and he started developing software products, plugins, and that kind of thing right away, and networked. And so if I was to start all over again, I could make a ton more. I don't think I'd even blog, to be honest with you. A lot of the guys who are making really killer money, they don't blog. Blogging is very, very time consuming.
Yes.
So, but for the average Joe who has no business experience, doesn't know anything about this industry, doesn't know anybody in this industry, and doesn't have much working capital, blogging, building authority sites, those are all really excellent ways to get into the business, to make some money, and if you get good at it, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn a ton, and you may never want to deviate from that. I know a lot of people don't want to blog or be a make money online teacher or software vendor or whatever, but the money is so incredibly good once you figure that side of the business out that I don't know why you wouldn't want to do it, because whether you're making money online by teaching or selling products that are about making money online, or you're making money online because you sell flowers, it's profit either way. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
You're making money. You have a business that makes money. Does it really matter what your product is? No. As long as it's adding value to other people's lives and it fits your business model, it's delivered online, et cetera, et cetera. I don't, some people they get hung up on that, and I don't.
Obviously, I guess you talked about blogging. I think there's, obviously when we think about like the big guys who make a fairly decent, like Pat Flynn is probably one of the popular examples that come to mind. He's making $40,000-$50,000 a month from blogging. So I mean, from your experience, if people wanted to get into blogging, like it's probably the easiest avenue to get into marketing. One of the easiest avenues. What would you say is the obviously? I was actually talking to Chris Garrett. He's a authority blogger. He's worked with Darren Rouse at Pro Blogger, and he was saying that a lot of people who start into sort of blogging, they would tend to make a blog about make money online, but they haven't actually made a single cent themselves first, and they kind of take this approach that fake it until you make it, and then you start teaching everyone how to make money online. So, I mean, I guess from a broader perspective, what are your thoughts on if people were to start into blogging? What do you think is a good way to kind of, start into?
That's exactly what I did, except I didn't fake it. I called my blog the Online Income Lab, because lab is short for laboratory, which is where you conduct experiments.
Yep.
And right from the beginning, I said on my blog, look, I'm new at this stuff, man. I mean, I'm pretty successful in business, but I'm new at the whole online thing. But if you want to look over my shoulder and see what I'm doing, then read my blog. Yeah. And the byproduct of a year of blogging and doing, I had all these. I mean, I built a truckload of niche sites, and I got a lot of them on the first page of Google. Yeah. I learned, and so I became. I guess in some people's eyes, an authority. I'm definitely not as many people read my blog as Pat Flynn's, because I don't put as much effort into it as he does. He doesn't do any paid products or anything like that. And I believe in building a business that has customers, and to have customers, because then you have a business that has value.
Yes.
The problem, if you're only blogging, if Pat stops, he's got nothing to sell.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy his blog because it's him. He's the brand.
Yeah.
And I'm not so big on that. But I mean, all the power to Pat. I have a ton of respect for him. I think he has a fantastic blog, and I think he's probably the most successful blogger that I know of.
Yeah.
But I see no problem at all. As a matter of fact, I encourage people to create a make money online blog. I don't see any problem with it at all. Just don't fake it. Just tell people I'm new. But if you want to see what I'm doing, read my stuff.
Yeah, I think I mean that's one of the things I noticed about your blog when I was kind of starting early last year was you were fairly transparent with what you were doing, and it was kind of a bit refreshing to see because there's a lot of there's big blogs out there like I think shoemoney.com. There's another one which is which is probably one of the end. There's Viper Chill, and there's quite a few blogs. I mean, there's they've got a huge audience, but you just never really get to know what they're actually doing. What these a lot of these marketers are actually doing behind the scenes. What are they? I mean, obviously they are making money, but you just don't know what what they're doing and how they're doing it. So I guess transparency is important, and being honest. If you're not making money, just tell people that I'm not making millions, but I'm doing better than most people. And that's kind of the approach I've taken as well, a little bit. So I guess the next thing I want to just go on to is the niche site thing, or you want to call it niche sites. Obviously you said like you saw people making 200. I know Spencer, you interviewed him last year, and it was unfortunately he recently got banned from AdSense, but he was. He had like over 200 websites making money from AdSense, $16,000 a month. So what are your thoughts on moving forward in the future? Because I get a lot of questions on my blog about the niche site thing, and I've got these blog posts and stuff which talk about stuff which was working a few months ago. It doesn't work as well as they used to work 3 months ago. So do you think that's still a sustainable model to move forward? Should people be building niche sites, or is it?
I think there's plenty of opportunity. I don't think you should build 200 niche sites. No, I think you should have 3, 4, 5 at the most, and build them into authority sites. With respect to how you monetize them, as a CEO of your business, your number one job is to manage risk. And the thing that people who don't come from business, maybe they don't think about is, and Spencer, he worked at a bank beforehand, and Spencer, I don't want to take anything away from him. He was very, very successful, but he didn't manage risk very well because all his eggs, all his traffic came from Google, and all his money came from now he's come to diversify. He's got his Longtail Pro software, he's got his blog, and he's done very well with that. But in his niche site business, he was 100% dependent upon Google. When you have that many niche sites, you're probably not building a list unless you're doing them in clumps. Like when I built my first 30 sites, they were all in the same niche, so I built a mailing list, and that made it easier to sell those sites when I was done. So I still think AdSense is a terrific monetization strategy, but AdSense is not a business model. Affiliate marketing is not a business model. It's a monetization strategy. The key is building sites that get traffic. That's your business model. How you monetize them, AdSense affiliate, CPA, your own information product, building a mailing list, solo ads, list swaps, whatever the hell you want to do, that's how you diversify where your money comes from. You also want to diversify where your traffic comes from. Your business model is, I'm going to be an online entrepreneur, and I'm going to be a content producer, or I'm going to, fix cars or whatever the heck it is that you're going to do. So yeah, I think AdSense is as good as AdSense has ever been as a monetization strategy.
Okay, yeah, that's an excellent point. So I guess, just moving on from the niche side thing, the whole SEO thing, I know like this, it is a kind of a, it's constantly changing landscape. Google's, I went to an event last night where there was a guy from Google. He talked about this whole, and there was a lot of affiliate marketers in the room who were talking to this official representative of Google, and he
wouldn't want to have been that guy.
And the interesting thing is he was saying that it's never been Google's policy to specifically target AdSense or affiliate type website. It's it's more to do thereafter. I think I guess it's not real secret to it, but a lot of people believe that Google's releasing these updates to to kill the affiliate business model or the AdSense business model. It's not true. It's I think what
they're doing it to preserve their own business model.
Exactly. So it was an interesting point. So I guess what I'm going to ask you is, from an SEO perspective, obviously you can, in like about 3 months ago, the people are using private blog networks like My Article Network or Build My Rank, and you could get really good results if you can find a good keyword. You could be looking at ranking a website. I mean, I personally use that strategy to rank quite a few websites on number 1, number 2 within 30 to 45 days. It was possible. Mm-hmm. So obviously all that's not as effective anymore. So what are your thoughts on moving forward? What should people be, from an SEO perspective, what should they be focusing on?
I don't think it's rocket science. Just pay attention to what Google's saying, and Google's saying we want high quality content, lots and lots of really awesome content. So you know what? Produce lots of really, really awesome content. But guess what? It's real work, and that's where most people fall. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you mean I gotta work? I gotta work to make money? Oh no! Let me go buy somebody else's magic software. I just want to click the mouse a few times. But producing content's not that hard. Like right now, you and me are producing a ton of content. If we talk for an hour, this is going to be approximately 10,000 words. Yeah. You could have it transcribed for about $40. I know because I've done this. So $40 for 10,000 words of original, unique content, plus the video, plus the fact that you can strip it out and make it audio only. You can take those 10,000 words and chop it up into multiple articles. Was that really that hard? No, not really. The point is you need to pick topics that you can produce relatively easily, I should say, high quality content for those. And then people will link to you. My 2 biggest authority sites, and I count my blog as my biggest authority site because, like I said earlier, the make money online niche, it's just a niche like every other niche. Golfing, whatever, it's just a niche. And I've never built a single link to the Online Income Lab. I have 1,000 of them. And I don't get most of my traffic from Google, and I don't get most of my money from Google. So my online business that I have built 1 blog post at a time is not, I don't have a lot of Google risk in that business. Google can take away my AdSense account, big deal. They can take away my search rankings. It doesn't matter because I only get like 15% of my traffic from search anyway. What I did, and like what Pat Flynn does, is I did a very good job, and I learned a lot from Pat about branding myself and being everywhere, being on YouTube, being on iTunes, being on Facebook, being on the Warrior Forum, being in lots of places so that people could come and consume your content and go, wow, this guy's got really great content. I think I'll share it with some other people. Yeah. Now, does that mean that you can't have niche sites? Like, for example, my next biggest niche site is howtocleananything.com. I don't add any content to that. I never did any podcasts, nothing. I just hired writers. I mean, I bought the site to begin with, and then afterwards I added more, and I hired writers to write more cleaning tips. Yeah. And so it's basically just this huge library of cleaning tips, and there's over 5,000 links to that site, and not one of them was what I call a manufactured link. Now, with all of that, so those are natural links. With all of that said, I am still a big believer in manufactured links, but the key is to have a wide variety of links, meaning there's lots of different types of links: article links, video links, profile links, press release links, the list goes on. Lots of different types of links with a huge diversification of your anchor text, and that's the words that you see on the screen that you're going to click. Because everyone, if you looked at, I was reading a study yesterday, and their sites that went down the most as a result of the Penguin update had a very high concentration of the keyword in the anchor text. It's very, very unnatural. Humans don't do that. They go, click here, check this out, read more. So build links with lots of anchor text diversity, lots of link type diversity, and lots of link vendor diversity.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why with my membership site, so Niche Site Mastery, I thought, because I used to offer, I have this what I call a master ninja level, and I said to my members, look, we'll build links for you on My Article Network and Unique Article Wizard. And it worked really well for a while. And so recently I subscribed to Link Emperor, and it's $500 a month, which is beyond the budget of most people, to give access to Niche Site Mastery members and for myself. I'm taking, and I'm actually doing right now, I've got some of my own sites that got pummeled in this Penguin update, and now I'm throwing this hugely diversified manufactured link cluster. I'm building links to these sites on an ongoing basis, none of which is using keyword as anchor text. It's all click here. It's very, very random. And I still think absolutely manufactured links plays a big part. I've just read too many other people's posts who I respect, like Jonathan Leger. He had a good post a while ago, and he gave examples of sites where, they were pretty ugly, old, crappy sites, but they had lots of link diversity, and they still rank. And some of my niche sites went unscathed in Penguin. They're still on the first page. And you know why? Because those sites were the sites that are actually getting comments and social signals. I went and looked at some of them this morning, actually, because I was doing some maintenance. And I was like, oh, there's like Google Pluses and Facebook shares, and there's stuff to show that human beings are actually giving signals to say, we like this stuff. And I can only assume that they have continued to rank reasonably well because of that, because they still had, Unique Article Wizard and My Article Network links.
Yeah, that's great. So I guess I just want to go on to, we touched on obviously the monetization strategies and importance of diversifying your business. I just want to sort of touch base on quickly on, obviously what happened to Spencer, and, previous to that there was quite a few other people who've had their AdSense, accounts disabled. So obviously people, they will probably choose a monetization strategy and they'll go, okay, well, I just want to do AdSense. So do you have any sort of tips on, if you what do you think would be a good way to sort of for people to diversify their sort of business, as in, do a little bit of AdSense or do a little bit of affiliate marketing or blogging? Is there like a good sort of mix of things?
Do them all. Number one, build a list. Build a list. Because when you've got a list, you have power to pull people to your site, and you have power to send offers to those people whenever you want to. When you have a list, it's like an ATM machine.
Yep.
If I have a good offer and I write an email and I hit send, I make money every single time. Beyond building a list, if CPA fits your niche, put a CPA offer on the sidebar or somewhere. If AdSense fits your niche, put AdSense on. Affiliate, put affiliate on. Put them all on. Because this model is not about having 200 sites anymore. It's about having 2 sites or 3 sites. Maybe you have 10, but I think 10 would be a lot of, unless they're like my cleaning site where you don't really have to do much. Yeah, I could have 10 of those. That wouldn't be hard to do. But 10 blogs, forget about it. It's too hard. And just experiment. And I don't think that, if you've got like one, like for example, my cleaning site, is it at risk of losing its AdSense account? I don't think so. I mean, it's all, I just can't see it. It's been around for a long time. It's got lots of humans that are going to this thing all the time. I don't think it has, and it fits Google's quality criteria, and the links that are built to the site fit their quality criteria. I mean, it just reeks of quality, exactly what Google wants to see. Yeah. So the biggest thing with monetization is just don't do just one thing.
Yeah. With the AdSense, so I mean, I guess this is a bit of a side topic. Why would you think, why would Google be banning? I mean, obviously, I know like when Spencer released that, he wrote a big post about when he got banned, and he got like 400 comments on that. And one of the points, I think one of his readers made a point that, were your sites really thin in content? And I think Spencer replied back and says, yes, most of them, or quite a few of them, were actually really, really thin in content. So do you think that could have been a contributing factor to, obviously Google's concern about invalid clicks or, all those sort of things? Do you think that could have been a factor in,
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you don't think Google can go to their AdSense thing and say, pull me up a list of all the people who have 100 or more AdSense sites in their AdSense account?
Yeah.
And then human review those accounts. Done. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
First thing I did when I read Spencer's post, I took 70% of my AdSense sites that really weren't making much money out. Took AdSense off, took them out of that AdSense account. I thought it's 80-20 rule. 20% of my sites are making 80% of my money.
Exactly.
So I gave up 20% of my money to preserve the other 80.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on the radar list.
Yeah, no, it's it's. I mean, I know, like, just I think Spencer did mention, or someone else mentioned that, there's Google is specifically going after these people who are building sites just to make money from AdSense.
Sure they are.
Yeah.
Sure they are, because those advertisers, they're not getting a return on their investment.
Exactly,
and
because
Google doesn't want that.
They don't. I mean,
and more importantly, Google doesn't see the advertisers as their customer. Google sees searchers as their customer.
Yeah.
And if as long as these thin sites have the ability to make money, the owners of them will continue to build links and do things that will keep them ranking on the first page. And Google doesn't want that. Google wants to kill. This is my opinion. It's not like they phoned me and told me. But they want to get all that stuff out of the search results.
Yeah.
And so the easiest way to do that is to make those sites not make much money, and then the owners won't want to invest in continuing to artificially prop those sites up in the search results.
Yeah.
All the more reason to build authority sites, because you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
I guess so I just want to sort of ask you about where you actually heading with your own business. I mean, obviously you've got you're doing quite a few things with your membership site and your blog, and you're sort of, you've got niche sites still making money from AdSense. So what are your sort of planning for the future? Where do you want to take your business? In terms of
more of the same. I intend to, like right now, if people who read my blog will notice, there's in the last 6 weeks I've hardly written any blog posts. That's because I've been incredibly busy. First of all, updating Niche Site Mastery to be current for the current environment.
Yeah.
And as well, I've been deploying Infusionsoft, which is it's software that runs the back end of my business. And businesses, they grow to a certain point, and then they kind of plateau for a while, and they grow again. So I've been really focused on putting in place more automation in the back end of my business, so that it can grow more on. For example, one of my goals is to be able to buy traffic, send traffic to my properties, and have that traffic convert and make a profit. Because that's true automation. If you think about, people blog to get traffic, but you got to keep blogging all the time. What if I just buy traffic? Why don't I just buy traffic?
Yeah.
What if I could spend $10,000 a day and get a return on my investment? Then I don't have to do anything. All I got to do is spend $10,000 or $5,000 or $500 or $20,000, whatever the number is. As long as I can get a positive return on that advertising spend, wouldn't I want to just crank the volume to the maximum? To me, that's thinking like a business owner. So I'm trying to put my business into a position where there's more automation, so that I can do more promotion. Obviously, I want to promote Niche Site Mastery a lot more. It's a great product. I get a lot of positive feedback. People really love it. Just want more customers. Mobile apps. I myself and two partners, we've committed $30,000, and we're going to build ourselves mobile apps. And I'm going to start an authority site for mobile apps. Why? Because I want to build a list of people who would buy mobile apps. And I'll be able to monetize that list in all sorts of ways, and I'll be able to monetize that site in all sorts of ways. So that's really where I'm going. I'm going to probably launch one new site, that mobile app site, do some mobile apps. I'm going to do a lot more podcasts. I really like interviewing people, and so I'm going to do a lot more networking. I'm going to find a lot more people to be on my podcast, and the level of posts on my blog is going to go back up again. But I just need to get through what I'm just calling it open heart surgery on my business with Infusionsoft and all these other things, the webinars and stuff that I'm doing to enable it to get to the next level. Because that's a CEO's job. Your number one job is to focus on increasing revenue.
Absolutely. No, that's a great tip. I mean, I guess, a lot of people, well, part of the reason why a lot of people don't think from the CEO kind of perspective. They're always looking at, I think I wrote a blog post about this yesterday, that people are just spending too much time just doing stuff, everyday stuff. They're not thinking from a business manager perspective. Okay, well, what ideas can I put in to grow my business, rather than just doing the same old stuff every day. So, obviously outsourcing is one of the parts of that, that strategy is to actually focus on getting people to do your work, and then while you focus on growing your business and coming up with ideas, just probably like what you're doing at the moment. So no, all the great tips. I think that's pretty much all I have to ask you. I just want to get some final thoughts from you, like especially for, I get a lot of people who are sort of beginners style people, or people to my blog, and that's primarily my focus. I do give away a lot of free tips and advice and stuff. What would you sort of as a final word would you tell people? Obviously the thing is, like, anyone can say, okay, well, do this, build lots of sites, but I think the thing that used to work, the thing with the whole SEO landscape has changed a lot. So people, it's not that easy for people to get started, to start building websites and make money. So, what would be your sort of...
I think the advice, and this is not online specific advice, this is sound business advice. Find a mentor, find one mentor, and follow that mentor. No matter what business you're in, there's huge value in finding somebody who's already achieving the results. Tony Robbins talks about this. He calls it modeling.
Yeah.
Find someone who's achieving the results that you would like to achieve, and simply do what they are doing. Put your own unique twist on it, or heck, flat out copy it, because the world's big. The pie is big. There's big enough for everybody. Just find someone who you resonate with. Some people resonate with me because they like my CEO, the fact that I've actually been in business, that I actually ran a company, and that's what I call my unique selling proposition. Yeah. Then there are people who will like Pat Flynn because Pat is like the most transparent guy in the entire world. He's like super humble, and he literally fell into internet marketing because he got laid off. Yeah. And he had this this site, and it had all his notes, and then Sterling and Jay said, you really should sell an ebook. Oh, really? And he took off, and he's just been blogging like a madman ever since. And some people will like that more. Some people won't like my style. They'll like Pat's style. Some people won't like. Just find someone that you resonate with, and then learn everything you can about what they're doing. And if that fits with what you want to do, then just go out and do it.
Right.
Number one, most important thing, don't spend too much time on the Warrior Forum reading. Don't buy too many courses. Do. I wrote a post some time ago. It's called "What Have You Built Today?" Not what have you read today, not what have you studied today, not who have you talked to today. What have you built today? Yeah. Entrepreneurs are builders. We got to build stuff to make money. If you're not building anything, you're not going to make any money.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all the great advice and tips, and a good discussion. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the readers would would love to sort of get some. Well, it's obviously it's all great tips for them to sort of listen to. So I'd probably just like to wrap up, and once again, thanks for all the great information, and it was lovely chatting to you.
No problem, Anshul. It's been a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you very much. When you put this, is this just going to be audio, or are you doing video?
I think I'll have to see the quality of the video, and then I'll see if because I actually did an interview with Shane from Swissmed Marketing just a few weeks ago. Yeah. And the videos had some issues. So I still decided to put it on, but it wasn't it wasn't the best quality.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think he did actually say that if it's a bit sort of jittery, it's okay. It makes it look sort of natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure when you post it, let me know, and I'll keep an eye on the thread if people have questions. I'll of course be happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
And if anyone is interested in my blog, you already gave out the URL. It's onlineincomelab.com.
Yep.
And just today, as a matter of fact, I put up on the right-hand side, you can subscribe or not subscribe. You can sign up for my webinar. It's just called the Discover My niche site success model, and in that webinar I talk all about authority sites and how to do it. So that's my little shameless plug for myself.
Not a problem.
And,
excellent. I'm sure
no
people
problem.
would love to hear from everything you've got to say. Yeah. So thanks once again, and I'll keep you posted on when it's online.
Okay. Terrific. Thanks for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye.